Hello everybody, it's the camel again and welcome to Maebad Aljamal. This is the highly requested Arabian area and we are back in Camel Kingdom, which finally gets its third area. After the main street and the pirates area, we are now heading into the Arabian style area, and I'm really happy you guys contributed so much in the poll on Twitter. We counted over 100 votes. Yeah, it was a really clear case. So the Arabian area won by far by over 50%, followed by the spooky one, which I'm not quite sure if I may have a side project for you ready by Halloween. I'm not too sure. Maybe I'm also going back to my seasons park and use this area because there's, you know, the basis there is quite nice. So maybe I'm gonna redo this one a little bit and give you a first on-ride actually of the coaster I did back then. So yeah, that could be an idea. Anyways, we are here in the Arabian area today, and without further ado, I just wanted to explain a little bit about this area because this is on my schedule for quite a long time. It's been in my mind since we began with the pirate area. I don't know why, but I got into this kind of mood to make also an Arabian area, and I am really happy that you guys voted for it also, because I could have easily just gone into it, but I think next time I'm also going to do a voting again, because I think the best thing about it is I have so many ideas in mind, right? I could go easily with 3 new areas in this park easily, which I am really passionate for and I could just go right off with, but at the end of the day, you guys also yeah, you guys should also like what I'm doing and like what I am building. And since this is a win-win situation, I'm really happy that you voted for the Arabian area, because I'm also looking so much forward to it. But enough of thanking everybody. Okay, that can't be enough anyways. But I'm just quickly gonna explain one thing which I'm a little bit bothered about, and this is, as you can see, I'm doing this little staircase area over here, which wasn't planned actually. I just do it to cover up the ugliness of the path and the terrain interaction. And I have to say, we are able to deactivate collision all over the place, but we can't do it with path. I kind of understand this from the point of view that the path AI or the pathfinding AI of the guests is quite a hard thing to do, and if it gets together with terrain too much, I think that's a huge potential for people getting stuck and stuff like that. But a little bit closer would be really nice. I mean, it's nearly 4 meters of in-game proportions, and this is quite huge of a gap. I'm gonna cover that up with the stones. It's looking quite ugly at the moment. It will be a lot better at the end of the episode, but it's by far not at a stage where I do like it. So I am also looking and redoing it entirely. I'm not too sure if I do, because it's a whole lot of work to make this, you know, shape the terrain that way that you can use the terrain as basis for the pass. That's really hard. Anyways, I wanted to explain a little bit about this area in general, because as I said, I planned this for quite a long time. I wanted to do this for quite a long time, and the good thing about this is that I had some ideas already in mind. So it will be a little bit special in that kind of sense that we are building one big temple, and this is basically also what the name means. It's basically camel temple. I know that's not too surprising and also not too, I don't know, creative, but I just thought, okay, let's use Google Translate for a bit and see what it's coming up with. But yeah, anyways. So what will be special about this area is, first of all, as you can see, I'm gonna prepare this over here already. It will be a really modular build. So I am planning to give you the blueprint of it as a workshop item as well, so you can use it afterwards also. The only problem is, and you can see that already by the first look onto it, and I also, you know, tweeted that on Twitter already, it will be an FPS killer like hell, because I have to, for all these onion shaped roofs, I have to make a lot of rotation trick action, which basically ends up in millions of pieces intersected. So I know a few people of Frontier that are, yeah, I think they are now sitting in their room and gonna start to cry, because that's not what we are intended to do. But I'm really sorry, I just have to do it because it looks too good. And I am using a lot of those golden pieces. As you can see, I used the golden clock over there, and also I think it's from the monsters pieces. It's kind of the grill, the cooling grill in front of it, which has this golden frame, and if you rotate that the way I did, you can use it really nicely as a golden touch, as well as the beautiful big clock, which also has a nice golden frame. So you can use those two. Moving on to the second and the biggest of those onion towers, we will do another one and maybe even a fourth one, but that's not in this episode. Here I used the firework, because I think the firework pieces, you may have seen me using those a lot of times already, but you can use them really nicely, because the back of it, the little, I think it's concrete, right? I'm not too sure, but it should be concrete, I guess. It's really nice, the texture of it is really nice, and I wanted to make kind of this sandstone. It is basically for the real ones, I guess, but I think this looks quite nicely. It could be sandstone as well. It's definitely concrete, I guess, but for the looks of it, it can be also sandstone. And since you can hit the trigger checkbox and then they just would play untriggered, and I just don't trigger them, so you can use it pretty nicely as a simple building piece. And as you can see, it's looking really fancy rotating it, because they are just going to start off doing their animation one time. It's yeah, looking really funny, but in the end, I'm not too sure, by the way. I think if I save that as a blueprint, it might be not working and they are not triggered at the very beginning. That would be a really nightmare to share them with you guys, so I'm not quite sure if I do it. Yeah, anyways, I'm gonna see. Otherwise, I'm just going to do a sequencer in it and just don't play a sequence, you know, just putting them in. I think that should work then. Just selecting all of those pieces and putting a sequencer in should also fix the problem then. I'm not so sure. But as you can see, I'm also trying to focus a little bit of the interior, and I am really pleased with the outcome, I have to say. If you can see now, after rotating, you can see that the interior looks quite nice. And I'm also really pleased how the basic shape of the roofs ended up. So I was a little bit struggling with what we can use for the really tiny middle piece, which is really the tiniest of the roof pieces that has to go steep into the middle of it. But at the end, I'm really happy to have that done with the spooky pieces they offered a little bit, and of course the Christmas pieces do go into it as well. I just love how every theme of the game can be used to create a new theme. And by the way, I will definitely hate Frontier if they are bringing an Arabian set with the next update. That would be, please don't do it. That would be killing me. Anyways, yeah, as I said, I'm really looking forward to it. And also, the next modular piece I'm going to do is also something I wanted to do for quite a while, and I'm really happy that I did this finally, because it looks great in the end. And oh, by the way, mentioning, I totally forgot about that. The books you can see over here from the Spooky Pack, they work just perfectly perfect as mosaic pieces, and with those little goldenish and silverish, I don't know if that's the word, details on it, and they're really small. You can use them as tiny little details without using too many polys actually, and I just have to say, holy shit, they are really useful. As you can see, using again the firework, you can use the firework piece for everything, by the way. They do make up also some tiny and nice little details if you take the roundish part of it and put it into a wall and just have the roundish frame of it. That's really nice. But yeah, as I said, this is something I never did. As you can see here, I'm trying to make the interior piece as well, and I'm using this little rotation trick over here as well to make a quarter of the complete roundish piece. And then I deleted those frames to just make sure it looks decent at the end, and finish that pillar off with a little piece on the bottom part, again a Christmas piece, to make it round up. And now we can use this very piece all over the place to copy that around. And I think it just works beautiful for everybody, for everywhere, because you can then make like little nice open spaces having a really nice looking roof to it. Because what I like about Arabian architecture is also how it's working together with the interior and exterior design, a lot with shadows as well, and roundish shapes with some edgy details in it, and this is why I wanted to make this little piece over there as well. Unfortunately, and we are back to the issue of the FPS killing theme, I needed to make a custom wall. This is basically because I wanted to have this special window in the middle of it, and I also wanted to be able to put that in different angles, so I needed to make a custom one, which then in the end can be moved around without sticking to the grid. Actually, what I always do is I still build this piece on the grid, just to make sure it does align perfectly with the other pieces then, and to make it easier for me to keep the proportions correctly. That's basically why I use the walls and pieces every time as a, yeah, just as a basis, and build upon from that. But as you can see, it kind of starts to shape up a little bit. The next thing I'm gonna do is a small tower, which will then make up for the gate, which the temple will have. I guess it will have 2 gates at the front and at the back, and the rest will be all covered inside the temple. And I'm also looking forward to make a little bit of a marketplace. Not quite sure if I do it on my own, if I maybe ask somebody, because I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. Would it be a nice idea to ask somebody else from the Planko community to maybe take part in Camel Kingdom? I don't know, it's, you know, I just recently had the feeling that also sharing is a nice thing to do. For example, in Clean Canyon that works pretty well if people take over for a week, and, you know, I just take the work and go on. I'm not gonna open Camel Kingdom entirely, but maybe 1 or 2 persons you all know could be an idea. I don't know, it was just actually an idea I had that just came in my mind at the very moment. But what do you think? Would you like it? I just, yeah, came up with this idea right now. Anyways, talking about the gate, you can see now I think it wasn't in the footage before, so you can see on the bottom part also the custom billboard used as a sand texture. I just was struggling, as I said, to fit in the area with the terrain and stuff, so I used the little billboard there to blend it in a little bit better. I tried a little bit around with the textures, and I think at the end it came out quite nicely though. I have to say I'm quite pleased with it. I'm not pleased with the entire area, but at the very front, but in the end it gets a little bit better by just putting in so many props and pieces that we can blend it in a lot better than I actually thought at the beginning. But yeah, so moving on now to the last things of this episode already, and I'm really sorry, by the way, it's again a little bit longer than 10 minutes or something, because I noticed that a few of you asked in the comments to make shorter episodes. I try to, because it comes in handy for me as well, but I wanted to, yeah, you know, it's always kind of a trade-off. Either way I can make a short episode, but that means that I sometimes have to cut out a lot of interesting footage, and also the end result is maybe not that interesting to look at, because I have the feeling, and also looking at myself watching other videos on YouTube, it's always a little bit frustrating to have you know, an end of an episode where actually nothing has been finished or happened. So I wanted to always keep in mind to show you at least a kind of finished part of it. So this very episode over here will show you the finished gate in at least it's finished by like 95%, so that you at least can say, okay, next episode we are going on to do something else instead of just being here. Or that might be a second solution, having an episode split into 2 parts. That could also be a thing, but then it also has to be exactly 2 parts. That's basically why I am a little bit split on this point, but I try to next episode make it a little bit more short, and also the other ones. But yeah, never mind, I just wanted to get this off my chest. Yeah, that should be it already for this episode. I'm gonna round that up because we just have a few seconds left. I'm really happy to be finally able to make the Arabian area, and I hope you guys like it as much as I do, and let me know what you want to see in this area as well. Please note down all the ideas you have, and let's see what we can use of it, if we can make use of it in the next episodes. And hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Leave a comment please if you have something to say, or leave a like if you want to. I'm really happy if you stick with me still, and yeah, would love to see you in the next episode, guys. Have a nice day, have a nice night, have a nice evening, whatever time you're watching, and see you then. Bye bye, guys.